Had a little bit of zoom problem there. Not only did it get jammed over and ended up at like, I don't know, 32 times or something further than that. Also ended up not wanting to move from that very much. I like to investigate a game a little bit, take a look at, some of the baked-in stuff. In this case, the obvious thing is the combat table. And you can see, okay, this goes out to like 17 for the attacker. Well, it doesn't go that far for the defender. And the defense table out at 14, that's the most strength you can possibly get in a space, is pretty close to that 17 or more. And if you look at the attack strength at 14, it's not very good. And likewise, if you look at the lower end, the attacker has a slight disadvantage. So that's all well and good. More or less as you'd expect. Too many of the CDGs seem to give an advantage. I give them make equal attacks, like buckets of dice type games and stuff like that tend to be out there. So it's good to see that the combat table does give an advantage to the defender. Of course, some could do it with an attack and defense strength. I also want to look at the starting cards. Now, I don't know about the later cards. Unfortunately, this is not a conflict I know a lot about at all. So many of those. But the first thing to note, and I'm not going to be peeking at all the cards ahead of time, but I figure if you got 3 cards at the beginning of the game, you should have some feel about what those are at least, if they're the only 3 cards that you can possibly have. And the first thing you notice is the reds here have 3 4-point cards, and the whites only have 1. And the white 4-point card allows them to get 4 new troops, or units, full strength, but it can only be played in January or February. I may want to, as an event, I may want to keep it for its points in January, and maybe if I get it again in February, play it as the event then. So at least I get, one time I get those big 4 points. But do I really need 4 points at the beginning of the game? I don't know. The others, this one allows me to slip through with 1 unit, some red units. I don't know how valuable that's going to be. That's probably just points. And this one allows me to place a new unit in. However, this one doesn't get expended when it's played. It can be played multiple times. So that's kind of interesting. Let's look at these guys. Mobilization of workers, 4 red guards in red towns south of the front line with a supply line. Only in January and February, again, it's giving up a 4-point card, but I got a lot of 4-point cards, right? Well, I don't know. Looks like red may be maintaining the initiative in terms of activity throughout the game. This one, more red guards, 4 more south of the front. No, that's the one I just looked at. This one. Oh no, both of these. These are January, February only, and they both are 1-use cards that give me 4 units. Telling me something here. And this one gives me 4 in any red town that has an unbroken railway connection to Russia. But I can play this at any time, so I probably want to hold on to that one at least. These guys, maybe not. But these are all discard, remove from play cards. All right. And who goes first? We don't know. So the red player is trying to get Vasa. I can't read anything. That's not it. Jeez. Not knowing the terrain. Okay, it's up here. So that's my goal. The white player is trying to get really 3 of the 4 red player spaces, which may not be easy to see. That's not one of them. Obviously, there. We counted them before. 2, 3, and 4. Whew. Okay. and we can't figure out who goes first. We're trying to look, but it's not easy. So we're gonna maybe over here in the setup. No, that's not gonna say. All right, well, we're gonna have to back away now and try to figure out who goes first in order to play. This piece of information is in only one place, which is the game overview, which was what I was looking at. I expected it there. The white player begins each round by playing a card. Strangely, I would expect it to be also, yeah, I know people don't want to duplicate. I would expect it to also be here. The players take turns, hey, starting with the white, you know, a few extra words, I don't know. In order to go. Now, I have to really think here about, you know, what I'm trying to do, why, how, all that, because I'm facing a completely new situation. And that's always troublesome. Oh, there was one other, could also be here. Player aid. I think we're going to find that there's a lot of information that could go on a double-sided player aid, right? And honestly, there only needs to be one. There's two player aids, right? I don't know if there needs to be two if all that it's going to cover is the reinforcement units. You can pass that back and forth and people can look at it when it's not their turn, right? But if there was more valuable information, maybe you'd want two of them. All right, let's think a little bit about what the white player may want to do as a strategy. I have, again, no real idea what I'm facing, except that the red seems to have more activities, more capability to produce troops, and I got to take more of his stuff. So it seems to me the easiest place for me to take stuff is up here in the north, and one of the cities is there. And I want a city because I get additional troops based on the number of cities I have, and the reds get additional troops based on the number of cities they have, and their number is a higher multiple. So what we're going to have to do is, I guess, take advantage of the terrain of the board, which kind of says, hey, look, this is cut off from red. That's my hope. There may be cards that change that for now. So that may be, if I can take that and then I can solidify here, then I can spread down. That's my feeling. Well, I could go with a 2-point card right away and move 1, 2, 3. These are all rail lines so that they can go there and attack into here. And this guy, 1, 2, and attack into there. And I got 2 units hitting there. I don't think I'm terribly threatened by red by doing this. Or I could take some time. Now, I could take some time. I could play this card, which gives me, say, a white unit, put an extra white unit there, and then I could get 6 to 2 for my combat. And that would, so 4 to 2 would get me, I'd need really a 5 or a 6 to get him. And he could do damage to me about equally. 6 to 2, I'd have a much better chance of getting him. But with 2 attacks, I can probably get in there. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this card, which I don't really think is terribly powerful. I may be mistaken. And we can get rid of this. And I'm going to launch an attack onto there. Uh-oh, I'm going to win by 2 to knock him out of there. But that's okay. I can just win by casualties. Now, unfortunately for me, the game comes with 2 white dice, which means I can't roll them together. So I'm going to probably get a red die in a moment. Well, let's see what my combat is. Let's find the sequence of combat just to make sure I get it right, but I don't think it's too complicated here. It's just been a while. I add up, calculate attack and defense, look at the battle table, I see how much damage, we do that, and possible retreats. Okay, so there's no bonus for this, right? Let's see. I'm not attacking on a road. The only bonus is it's harder to knock him out of there. It's not a field fortification. He doesn't have any kind of, I don't know if there are any interrupt cards in this. So we're going to attack over on the 4 table. We need a 5 or a 6 to crush that unit. We don't get it, we do nothing. And on his side, he does a hit to us, and we do not advance. Now it's time to look at the red player. One of these cards I got a problem with. Place 4 fully manned red guards in any Russian town that has an unbroken railway connection to Russia. Okay, well, first thing I did, that sounded really powerful, right? First thing and now I'd have to get rid of it to play it, but first thing I did is, hey, can I make it to here? And it looks like I can. These are all red controlled, right? Just to delineate one spot. But yeah, I can trace a line all the way back to Russia. Great. All right, place 4 in a town. Well, in any red town. Well, I think what they mean is any red towns, plural, because the stacking limitation, which isn't trivial to find, by the way, I found it in the movement rules. Furthermore, a unit may not move into a town if this would subtract the maximum number of units. I'm used to finding things by looking for a header. This game doesn't have a lot of headers, doesn't have a lot of rules, so that's somewhat helpful. So it's kind of like, you know, a small Ameritrash or something. You don't have that much verbiage to ride through, but there's a lot of pictures, which of course causes me problems. And so I'm going to read that as though it says any towns, which would be a correction I would suggest. 4 to red towns, hey, this says it right, south of the front line and with a supply line. You can only place 1 red guard in each town. Well, spending this one seems painful, right? Kamra, Vipuri, and Laparina. Okay, so this one's weird. Add 4 red cards to red towns south of the front. Place 1 fully manned red guard in Kamra, Vilpuri, and Laparina, 1 unit in each town. Okay, I'm assuming that's out of the 4, and the other one I can put anywhere. That's my interpretation of it. Again, these aren't nailed down terribly well. It's easier to go loose on the rules when so much of the rules are on special effects on cards. But yeah, that's going to be, I think we're going to see a lot of interpretation on the cards from what I'm seeing so far. And I don't know if that's a translation issue or just, you know, in the finished version, it's just as ambiguous. See, if I want to bust through to Vasa, which of course is what I want to threaten to do at least, I'm going to need a lot of force. Now, I got to make sure not to lose anything, like Tampere, which doesn't look in danger. I don't want to lose that, but there's not much I can do about that, right? Viipuri and Helsinki. So where are these? Kamra, Vilpuri, and Laramping something or another. There's that one. Viipuri. Where's the other one? Kamra. No idea. There and here. So these would all focus down near Russia. Doesn't exactly do what I want. I could try fighting my way through the lakes. That doesn't look as hard as you would expect. Here it's 1 red guard per town. That would give me enough force to put a threat on Vasa. I am going to play this and lose it. And that'll get me 4 red guards. Let me pop them out. I love the pre-clipped counters, although the material they're printed on does leave a little bit of flash and doesn't stick necessarily all that well. Again, this is probably just, you know, a temporary print job to get me really fantastic looking counters for a test play. I'll put this there, it's gone. Put 1 here, they're just south of the border, right? south of the front line and with a supply line. Yeah, I got supply lines, but I'm only allowed one per town. That's the difficult part. Put one there. Okay, we're gonna focus on Vasa. We're gonna see if we can crush Vasa here. And is there anywhere where we're kind of worried about? We're a little worried he might be able to take Viipuri. And I think bad things would happen if we lose this, if we lose any chance of a connection with Russia. All right, so now we've done a turn from each player, and we're actually playing the game. And it, you know, it's daunting always to try to figure out what to do at the beginning of something new, especially when you don't know, you know, when you don't have a historical basis to fall back on. But yeah, it's kind of falling into place, in my mind at least. With no way for the Reds to just pound through and hit Vasa that we know about. Maybe there are cards which allow it, but we know the first turn's cards. What I'm going to do, I'm going to hold this in reserve because this can give me extra troops for Vasa, if need be. But I'm going to play this card as well. And I'm going to play for the action points. So that I can come down one, take this. And my second move, I can't move quickly enough to get anywhere useful down there. So I'll push here, I guess. See, I can't activate, I can't attack this. Oh, no. I have to activate this in order to make an attack. So I'm again going to go with 4-2. Why 4? I don't know. It doesn't really make a difference. But, and we'll roll a red and a white die now. Okay, we got 4. That's going to be 1 hit on the Reds. They got a 2, which is no hits, but that's not enough to force him to fall back, which probably puts us in kind of an iffy position because now the Reds can go, and the path's not clear, but it's also not too badly piled up. However, oh crap, what happened down here? I must have bumped pieces. Yeah, let's see what I can risk. The Reds are pretty sure they're not going to be able to take Vasa. And I kind of don't want to burn too many of these big 4-point cards. So what I'm looking at as my goal is to kind of get key locations, but also wipe out stuff that's inside of the Red territory, because it seems like that's going to cause forces to be to possibly occur inside of there. I've got that threat that I don't really want to have happen. So I'm going to look at places where I have 2 units. Well, I kind of don't want to give, I don't want to do damage, or I don't want to move out of some of these areas. That's part of the danger. But I can move this guy, and by move, I probably mean attack here. And I'm going to use these little markers. I only have 4 of them, but I'll figure out what else. So that's 4-1. That's probably pretty good. I'll move this because he can attack there. Ooh, he set a penalty for attacking over roads. That may not be a good move. Taking this Vilpula is interesting. Now I have to look at this. Field fortifications gives a -1 column. Doesn't look like it gives, oh, and a +1 column. Ooh, that's painful. Now, we don't know what happens when field fortifications get taken. Do they stay on the map? I think we have to look that up. Do not stay on the map. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate these 4 spaces. This one's going to attack here. This one's going to, ooh, that's at the -2. God, -2 sucks. because it's very unlikely I do any damage. Shit. Even with 4 attacks against him, I would be really unlikely to take him out of there. Oh, damn it. Alright, I gotta rethink. Actions. I'm gonna try to take Turku out of here, because if I can clear that, then I've got a situation where I don't have to worry too much about the whites being able to do much to me. Over here, I'm going to take a low odds attack here, but that can cut off supply back there, which has its potential values. Not much, but because everything's weakened down there, but I like the idea. And this poor guy's out of supply, so he has to kind of fight his way out of a bag. He's like the only unit. No, this guy's also out of supply, but he doesn't matter much. And of course up there is a troubling area. And otherwise, I'm just going to be clearing out a couple of units. So we'll look here. So this is 6 strength points hitting 1. We'll be over here, but we're at -2 because of the damn roads. And we don't have a way around that. And that does not hit. And of course, this doesn't hit either. We'll just get those markers. All right. Over here, I've got 4 to 1. No minuses there. And I get a hit, but both sides are hit. Now, the fact that this is dead, it can come back, but the question is whether or not I want to march into here with a weakened unit. Helsinki is important. This, not so much. So I'm going to leave that as white controlled. We're near the point where we're going to go, we're going to gain it anyway, so, because we knocked it out of there. And then our third attack here is a 2 to 1, which is again over the rail. Could have brought it up to 3, but, and I don't hit and they hit me, and that's not good. Because this would have been very useful. Maybe this would have been more valuable to hit with both units. Such is life. I'll put this up here for now. Because things get reshuffled every time. And now we're back on the whites. I don't know how this is happening. I keep bumping these pieces. I think Kirkkonum has to be a white area. Yeah, that's the thing I just attacked. Why is this red then? Okay, I guess that's fine. Trying to figure out my attacks. I definitely want to attack Oulu because that's worth points to me. I don't think I'm going to be able to get Helsinki, Viipuri, that's 2, Karku, 3. Where's the 4th one? Shit, never can find it. Oulu, right? Helsinki, Kamara, or Viipuri, Tampere, Oulu, and Vasa gives me 5, yeah. So I don't think I can gain any more of them. So after this attack, what's left? I may want to fall back with some units. I selected my moves down here. This guy, why? Well, I'm going to move him here, and he's going to attack there. That's 2. 3, I'm going to pull back here. Why? Because I could get cut off otherwise, and I don't want that to happen in either direction. So I can give up that space. I think it's wise. Let's get rid of that marker. There's nowhere for me to attack. And 4 is the attack here. Let's do this attack. Only this unit was activated. So it's 2 to 1, but it's over a rail connection, so it's not too bad. Nobody gets hit. Now this is a shame, because one of the reasons I wanted to use this unit was he's out of supply. And what the hell, we've bumped things again somehow. It's my shirt, but it's being more of a problem here than it usually is. Yeah, well, it was a problem in the other game I was playing recently with this. And here we're at 3-1, but nope, that's not a fortification. And 3 with a 4, we killed 1. 1 with a 6, they hurt 2. This is not good, because we couldn't keep a unit in full strength, so we don't get to take Ulu. And that means that the Reds not only retain it, but they also could actually perhaps build some forces there. No, not with this card. Okay. And now it's to their turn. The question for the Reds is troops or actions? There's nothing too major we can do with actions, so I'm going to burn this and get my troops. Now, there's some kind of problem with this card. I'm going to play it as best as I can, but I suspect maybe this is supposed to be 3 red guards added, but it says add 4, and it tells me 3 towns where I have to add them. The other one is anywhere south of the front. So Viipuri gets one, Camera gets one, and here's that flash. And this place gets one. And now I have one more that I can place anywhere south of the front. Well, Tampere is absolutely my most important place down here. Maybe with all that force I can punch through. The other option, of course, is to try to punch through here, but I think my opportunity has passed with the whites gathering there. So, anything special at the end of the turn? You know, now we check supply for all units. All right. This is not in supply for white. They cannot trace. We'll find the supply roll. And no, I won't be doing it in this much detail through all of the playthrough. Towns with no supply units I'll be swapping where supply is to a strategic town by road or rail. So this is going to flip. This is going to flip. That's no big deal. That's nothing complicated. Let's see what else. The whites can trace down through here. They can trace all of this. So where are their problems? There's problems down here. These are going to go away. Got to be careful because they have to be done kind of simultaneously from what I can tell. I can put red there because there's a white unit next to it. Looking at the reds, and I have to do this simultaneously, but they all were in supply down here. Where they're not in supply, this white unit's not in supply. Where they're not in supply was up there. They lost that. And in little places like this, which aren't going to hurt us. That was going red. Oh, I think Kalislami was actually... No, it had to be a white space. It's between those two, but I'm not sure it was. It may have just been something I missed. Where are the spaces for this? Yeah, Kalislami is not listed here, so this actually should have flipped. Now, I would not have moved this and instead saved the unit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat a little bit and move this to here as well, so that these were in supply. I know I'm cheating, but this guy didn't really get helped by what happened I was just hoping to kill something. In fact, we can undo it for all the help that that does. It's just, I wouldn't, you know, if the representation was correct, I would not have done the move that I did. So that's the end of this first month. And now we're already on the second month of the game. And the first thing we do is we get all the February cards added in. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You're only going to get 8 cards, so in the turn, so there's no guarantees. I'm going to get those big 4-point cards that I saved. And likewise for the Reds, who can discard all their cards, so they better have at least 8 of these. Now remember, there are cards that are auto available, and we have to find those if we didn't remember it. February armored trains arrive. Has to be chosen out of here. I'm looking for something that looks like trains. This looks like trains. Oh! Right. And we'll get 7 more cards for that. And the next one where something interesting happens is in April. Yeah, good luck remembering that. We'll be getting some things. Now, I think, this is not clear, you get new cards in your deck, but I don't think you draw them yet, and then you get your reinforcements. It says at the beginning of your turn you get the reinforcements. Also says you draw the cards at the beginning of your turn. I don't know if you can see your cards before you get your reinforcements. The actual reinforcements are listed here. So I'll pop them out. I need hands for that. So the first thing is the Jaegers have to go in Vasa or Willow, and I don't own it, the one, so that goes into Vasa. I get 3 times the number of strategic towns. I only have 1 strategic town because I didn't take that one. So I'm only going to get 3 pieces. I really was supposed to take that one. I tried. By not taking that means the red guards are going to get 4 times 4, which is 16 of these. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I'm going to need 2 more. Now, here's what's weird. They cannot place theirs up here. They can only place red troops south of the red border in supply, which is not good. I was hoping that I'd be able to throw 3 units in here and, you know, just pretty much shut the whites down there. But that's not going to happen. So we're going to have a definitely difficult time figuring out where to put all these troops. But we're going to have hordes of red troops now, and that may put them in a difficult to defeat position. All we have to do is make it to Vasa. The whites' main goal is going to be to try to hold that. And their secondary goal, obviously, this is trivial. They just move through it. Also does not specify who gets their pieces first. Since the whites are listed first, I'm going to give that to them first. But again, there's a lot of little pieces that have to be tightened up in these rules. It's not complete, you know. Kickstarter, still going through some development, obviously. But, you know, it's pretty close. That's sure. Now, I should look at my cards and think about them a little bit before I decide where I'm going to put things. But I'm pretty damn sure I need to focus on building up defenses here. Now with 2 units here, even though one's weak, I feel a little strong there. I probably want to get one there. I may even want to put one there, although I have forces that are going to be withdrawing in that direction, so I got to be kind of careful. So much stuff is weak, but I really have to pull out of here and get away from where the Soviet line is. And just see, you know, hope the cards allow me to recover from what was not a great start. Various reasons, one of which is I have that January, February reinforcement card, which can build me up some troops in here that I'm probably going to play for the event. I've decided to defend here, here, and here. I've got these guys, they can jump up there quickly, and we'll see where we go from there. I've got an interesting card, though, that I have to think about. I got another one that's a general defense card, but this one gives a +1 to the defense roll and a column shift, but only in Jotsenku, Antria, Ratau, and Hitolia. It sits in front of me. This is how those face-up cards work, I guess. I get a bonus action point to use, and then after the card is actually activated, if I'm attacked in one of those areas and I get the benefit, then I roll a die. On a 1 or 2, the card's gone. On a 3 through 6, though, I keep it in front of me. I don't think I want to defend this area that much. On the other hand, being near Viipuri seems valuable, but the problem is I just feel like I have to fall back from there and try to hold the Reds here. Now maybe I can hold them at Hitola, because if I can clear them out of here, which should be pretty easy, this is going to flip at the end of the turn if nothing changes. If I can clear them out of there, Hitola becomes a nice defensive position with this bonus. So that may be my goal instead. It wasn't my initial intent, but with that card, I think I do want to do that. So, of course, I might get attacked before I can play the card, right? Because I'm going to be shifting forces, but that's okay. We'll see how it works out. And I still haven't grabbed everybody for the Reds and placed them down. But anyway, that's the white disposition. We have played hordes of Reds. The Reds have with all these pieces, they're in kind of a funny position because they don't particularly, they can't play this. Now, this is interesting. So this says the trains can be in Viborg, Tampere, or Helsinki. I can't find Viborg. I'm thinking it might be Viipuri, but I'm not sure. But elsewhere, I cannot find it on the map. So I will have to, I'll have to look up online to see. Not if there's a rat, obviously, but if Viborg and Viipuri. Oh, what's this? Yeah, if Viborg and Viipuri are the same name, or if there's some other town that is called Viborg and also has another name, because I want to make sure I get the right one, but I don't see it anywhere on the board. Now, okay, that's one thing, is if this is indeed Viborg, I can't place the trains as my first action. That's okay, although the trains are kick-ass, right? They give me, what's their benefit? They can move and attack via railway, and 1 and 2 in a turn, and they don't lose supply. I can rail them, you know, anywhere I want, and they won't get hurt by that. I have a bunch of cards, though, that allow me to make an attack from certain towns and get a bonus on them, and some of them are particularly interesting. Not this one so much. This one is interesting for weird reasons alone, but for example, this one. Activate units in one town, they get +2 to the battle roll. That's pretty cool because die roll bonuses seem better than column shifts in general. And even more important, it takes it out of my deck. I no longer have a crappy 2-point card in my deck, which to me is a part of the Paths of Glory style games, is you want to cull your deck of certain cards and get them out of there. And then you're also left with, oh wow, this is a really good event, but I can't get rid of this card, it's too good. I hope this is not like Paths of Glory. I don't think it can be. Paths of Glory has situations where if you don't know certain cards, what their effect is going to be, you may never play them because they look like really valuable cards in your hand. The event effect that removes them, they have high points. The event effect that removes them doesn't seem all that great, but is necessary to move the game along. I don't see anything like that in here so far. So anyway, I've thrown my pieces down, and we're going to be on the white turn. I'm keeping the unshuffled deck there because honestly, it gets shuffled in with the reshuffles. It doesn't just get stacked on top or anything like that. So that's not really a big deal. I really think I want to play that 4-point card for the defensive bonus, but I do like this location, so I'm going to keep it open as an opportunity. The problem is I couldn't hold the line that I was in. The numbers would just be too great, I think. So here, well, it's only one stack that can attack me unless they choose to take the penalty for the road movement. So I've fallen back to there. Vipuri is indeed Viborg. I think what happened was the cards were translated, and Viborg is the non-Finnish spelling, the anglicized spelling, whatever, and that was just changed along with that. They've got to probably check all the cards for to make sure that the names align with the territories. We had another one that I think had that kind of issue, right? I don't remember which one. Anyway, I'm still working on the Reds' turn. I can't quite figure out what I want to do. Activate this card for effect. Activate red units in 1 or 2 towns. Now, what 2 towns do I want to take? I could take Aura VC here and try to attack into there, and that gives me a big advantage. The bonus is I get a +2 to the attack roll, which will cancel out some of the penalty, or it will cancel out the penalty. Now the question is, now the second one, do I want to do it down here or somewhere over here? I think I'll schwack from here instead. I don't want to just run up, do I? Hey, why not? If he was going to cut me off, 1, 2, we'll hit up there. All right, sounds good to me. This is why I had to go back here. So I've got 6 to 1. At +2. I get a 4, that's enough to kill it. He gets a 6, that does 2 hits to me. Do I want to just lose a unit, or do I want 2 weakened units? It's an interesting call either way. I've got a lot of units on the board. I think I'll just lose a unit because I've got a little bottleneck up there that I can take. This is gone. And we have advanced and done something good as far as I'm concerned. And then here I have 6 to 3. No mods because I'm canceling out the red. 6 is not, no, the red's not rolling very well here, are they? They get 2 hits to 2 hits, so this doesn't have to be any retreat. I'm going to keep whole units where possible again, just because I think that's an advantage. And this card was used for its effect. Its effect has an asterisk on it, so away it goes. Actions to take Swedish volunteers, a couple of units there. That discards a 3-point card, which, 3 points is a lot. But I'm finding, the points, the movement, that only allows movement. It doesn't allow reinforcements and all kind of other things. So a lot of movement points may not be that big a deal. It allows you to create a bigger campaign, but it's not the it's not always the same gut-wrenching decision-making process that you're facing in some of the other CDGs where you get to winnow your hand. You certainly don't want some crappy 2-point card, and it's one reason I'm thinking about playing the one that gets rid of this. You're going to play a Latvian company helps the red cards. That gives them a +2 to the battle roll. I'll move into here. I'll move here too. 3. Take this. How much it matters. And then I'm going to launch an attack into here. Now this isn't a great attack. It's 6 to 5, but with that +2, we'll get some advantage off of it. +2 to the battle roll. I do 3. He does 6. He does 2 to me. I again want to take full unit. And I did 3 to him. And he has to retreat. Since there's room to retreat 1 unit, I'll take my 3 hits over there. He's going to advance. One of these. Play the 4-point card. They were kind of hoping to defend things down here with. Now, the way they're going to use it, you're going to activate him. You're going to activate this space. You're going to activate this space. And we'll activate him up here. 1, 2, there goes that. Wolu is mine now. It's important. Something I just need to get done, basically. These guys. 1, 2, 3, and a 4th down there. I can launch an attack with them, but they can cancel out, so I can actually take this hex and this hex, or space, and this space is important because it's 1 space adjoining 1 space, and I get to clear 2 of my spaces into it. So it's kind of like, I mean, Risk has this kind of thing too. Oh, look, I can like put more of my defensive forces in just 1 space instead of spreading it out across the front more. And that's what we see here as well, where I pulled back. But now all of these moved, so I'm going to launch an attack here. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 against 4. 10 at 6 is 4, and I'd get a bonus hit. That's going to wipe them out. 4 with 5, they're going to take 3 hits. I'll take one of these. And what else? I need defensive forces too. I'll take this because that lets me slide both of these into there and take the space. And now I can try to pick these guys off or whatever, which seems pretty good. Forces out of temporary here. Up to here, I'm not going to launch an attack with them. I'm just trying to get some of my strength into singular places. But I am going to launch attacks here and here. And this is 6 at -1 or -2 because of the road. A 3 does the job, but I do take a loss. I might as well move both into place. No real reason not to shift them forward. And then over here, I was launching an attack. I've got, sorry, over here. Same thing, 6 to 1. At a -2. 2 on the 6, that'll kill it. And a 2 on the 1 will not. So I can move everybody out of here. I don't see any real reason that I don't want these guys stacked. Well, this route going up here is of some value. However, since I went this way, I don't know that I really want to split my force up. These guys can move that way or move up this way or whatever on their next action. And this was used just as a normal card. I really like using this, and I think I'm going to make this attack with it. It gives me a column shift in their favor. These guys cancel out the road problem, so I've got 2, 4, 8, 9 strength points, hitting 4. Column shift puts me into the 11 to 12 table up there. Ooh, not good. I only do one hit on them. And therefore, just 3 on me. No asterisk, so it doesn't have to be anything special. Weakening this seems like a bad idea. 1, 2, 3. This did not go well. This is a one-use card, which is part of why I didn't want to get rid of it, because it's pretty useful. We're going to want these, pick 2 of them up in Tampere, 1 of them down in Viborg. They'll give us the kind of power to get into there, maybe. We hope. Kinda. I don't know. Well, the whites played their defensive card. This will give them +2 to their next, well, to the next attack that they want to defend against. The reds are going to go for a big one then. I'm going to play Svechnikov. This activates Tampere in one of the adjacent towns. Now this is going to be kind of a waste. But I'm going to activate this town in Tampere. The town... I don't know what to do with these guys. 1, 2... I'll go join these, because that's a slightly bigger force. But this guy's part of the activation. This guy comes in, and then I also have him. 1, 2, 3. I could launch an attack with just him, but that's no good. The trains can't go over here, but they can attack up here. And I'm going to hit with 12 to 2. Now we've got all kind of things in play. And this card is burned, which again, good card, but field fortification is a column shift for each player. The attacker has 12. The defender has +2 to the dice roll. He's going to play this because this is kind of a key location, but he only has 2 strength points. So 12 with a column shift against him puts him on 9 to 10. He gets 2 hits. That's enough to kill this, and we're going to be going forward. But the other was at 2. You might want to use it for a better card. Shift +2. Well, that doesn't help, but I do 3 hits. Now, I'm definitely taking 2 of the hits on a regular, 1 of the hits on a choo-choo. If I recall correctly, the choo-choos cannot advance when damaged. Not sure I want to. Holding this space has some advantages, but these guys can move in without losing supply. They're able to get cut off without it being a problem. Something just happened. I gotta roll for this card. Oh, yeah, I wanted to put this here. I gotta roll for this card and see if I get to keep it out there. Oh, I forgot my action point. Shit. I don't know what to do with it. I don't know what I would have done. Let's just move these guys down, because we gotta defend boss. That would have happened before. 1 or 2, the card's gone. No more defenses. It's beginning to look pretty bad for the whites. They may fall. Let's play one of their only January, February reinforcement card. Throw some more troops down. That should put them in pretty good shape for a little while, but they still have overall a troubling situation, I think. A bonus card, it's an attack card. Activate units in 2 towns, they get +2 to their attack rolls. That's definitely better than 3 points to me. I'm going to activate these 2. I'm going to launch the attack across here. Getting a push there will help me, I think. So I got 9 strength points to their 3. And I got +2 to the die roll. 9 with 4 is 3 hits. I wipe them out. And 3 with 3 is also 2 hits. I'll take one of these. regulars because I want to move both units in. And the bonus is I get to keep the card for next time. If it comes around next time, right? But fallback time, I'm doing the machine guns, moving these 2 units. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. That's white. Okay. And I'm going to launch an attack against the train and try to knock it out. So now I have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to 5, but I have a +1 to the die roll. I do 3 hits. They do 4. I do kill a train. I don't know how important they are. I'm going to keep my good combat and speedy unit in the front up here, trying to hold, the line, but I'm really kind of down to almost nothing as I fall back. That becomes, I could advance into it, but I can't really afford to take the space, and I don't really need it that badly, right? That's what I say. Shifting some troops over from here to there, and this is just being played for points. I hate to do it because I'd like to get rid of it, but I'm also going to attack out of Helsinki. Why? Because the rail line's there. So I've got a 5 to 1. I kill it, and it does 1 to me. I'll take one of these crappy units because it's hard to rebuild them. Question is, do I want to leave Helsinki alone? I'm going to be getting reinforcements. Let's do it. This can go away. I think we're down to 1 card each. White's going to play this one for the event, which is the red must play their next card for action points. At least 1 red card must attack. You made me do it. I get an action as well. These guys aren't doing me a lot of good. I'll throw them down there to help guard the space. The other option would be to hit this train. Do I want to take a chance? I don't want to take a chance. I'm not in good shape. And now he's going to have to use his for actions. He might have been, saving it for this damn period. He was not. I don't know where his 2 actions are going to be. Probably try to gather forces. So, do I need to be here? Let's open up with 1, 2, 3. That's one of them. And the other one, I've got so many troops down here. 1, 2, 3. We're going to get ourselves into position there. That's our 2 commands. And that goes there. We're done. It's time to check supply. This turns red. This turns red. This turns white. These all turn red, including this back here. So I can get rid of all of these counters. Hey, if there's anything back here, it turned red. Yep. So we've pretty much conquered the south. The only thing going for the whites is that they took Oulu, which is pretty much guaranteed to happen. Otherwise, they're getting thrown back pretty far. And I think I'm not doing terribly well with them. At this point, we shift to the March turn. There'll be new cards coming in, but I'm going to load this one up. And you're not going to see it for several days, but... Which means, of course, if I make mistakes, which I'm sure I'm doing, they won't get corrected. And that's always a danger with me. I especially love this is something where I'm assuming, the designer or people involved in the game would be watching it from what I've understood. And so I might have been getting a quick turnaround on feedback. I'm not getting that right now. I think the biggest problem here, though, is not me not understanding the rules, but me playing poorly with the whites.